So here we have the 2 leaves, and you can see, I'll just mention that I've put them on a piece of paper here. It just helps you to sort of judge the size and proportions. So anything you ever do with a still life, it's always useful to just pop it on something and really help you key into what's there. Okay, so there are a couple of really simple time-lapse leaves. I'm going to do a slightly longer one now, and then it'd be really great if you went out, found yourself some leaves and had a little practice, and remember that what we're thinking about is mixing the colours from quite a limited palette, remembering that one colour will mix into the other colour if you use the water to help you. And don't forget then this little colour wheel: blue, yellow, red. If you want to temper the blue, use the orange. If you want to temper the orange, use the blue. If you want to temper the yellow, use some purple. If you want to temper the purple, use some yellow. And like that, using the complementary colours across the colour wheel. Okay, good luck. Okay, well, I'm stopping for now just to leave it to dry. There are a few more details I can see that I'm going to add, but it's important for me also that I don't end up overworking things. So once this is properly dry, I'm going to be trying to put in some of these shadows so that it makes it look like it's actually sat on the surface and not just floating in the air. So shadows next, once it's really dry, and some fine details, and then I'll be calling that a day. See you later. Well, I decided I might finish this off with a video instead of a time-lapse, because it means I can talk to you whilst I'm doing it. You see, I don't do anything more fancy than just wiping my palette when I'm in the middle of something, which is great if you're out and about. And don't worry about wasting this stuff, because if you dry it, or you leave it to dry, you can use it again another time, or another several times. Equally, I sometimes have cloths that I use. So now I'm going to make up something that is going to be greyish, like the shadows here. So that's where my burnt umber or burnt sienna and my French ultramarine come in to play. I might just warm it up with a tiny bit of the crimson. Okay, I'm going to make a little bit more here. That's just a little bit more punchy, a bit stronger. You see the difference there, hopefully. Right. Then, like any drawing or painting, it's about looking. So there's a bit of a shadow here. This has got to be completely dry before you start doing stuff like this, otherwise you're just gonna bleed into one another. So this is where you want a proper, in watercolour terms, hard edge, which just basically means that you've let everything dry properly. Out at the bottom. Some of the patches of shadow are going to be quite dark, and some are going to be much lighter. Easily done with watercolour. Finding that a bit blue, I'm going to put a bit more brown in there. This is going out across the edge of the book here. Let's put that in. Apply that a bit, and then a few points of shadow coming out a little bit further. Soft edge to that shadow, don't want a hard edge. It's a little bit harder than I want it to be. Soften that up a bit. Soften that edge up a bit. Along here, it's darken there. And painting is like having a conversation with yourself, really, and drawing. You know, you're just thinking, is that bigger than that, longer than that, darker than that, lighter than that? There's nothing more sophisticated than just having that little conversation, and making judgments and comparisons. And changing your mind, that's fine too. Again, like I said earlier, it's really easy to just overwork a watercolour. I think I might have overworked it slightly as it is, but I'm just going to press on. And the great thing about watercolour and what I'm doing here is I'm working on a sketchbook. This is a sketchbook piece. So, you know, if it all goes horribly wrong in your sketchbook, you don't actually have to show anybody. So I can see shining through here a little bit of yellow through the leaf. I'm going to put that into my shadow. Make it a little bit warmer, I think. And then I'm going to use some of this shadow to sort of edge the underside of this leaf here. Try not to get it too wet because it will just run. A shadow there, definitely a bit of a shadow in there. And that crease. And I'm going to call that finished. So it's not exactly the same. I'm not a photorealist. I take all my ideas from what I observe, but I'm not a slave to that. So I'm picking out the most key visual elements that I notice, and not necessarily every single thing that I spot. Certain mediums are better for certain subject matters. So I think we can get away with this one, with leaves in this one. I'd like to punch this up a bit, pep it up a bit, make it a bit more significant. And you may have noticed me earlier, I'm going to try and tip this tin so that it's running into a bit of a reservoir on this side. Then I get my pencil in there and drag it into place. this really skinny brush is called a filbert. And I'm going to use it just to pop a little bit more green into here. There we go, I'm going to call that finished.